Let's be real. AI has completely turned the world of software on its head. It's not about if your team is using AI anymore. The real question is how deeply is it woven into the very fabric of how you build things.
And that brings us to the big question for every single engineering leader out there. Are you just handing out AI tools and kind of hoping for the best? Or are you actively building a team that is truly AI native? Because there's a massive difference between the two. And that difference, well, that's the future.
So what are we even talking about when we say AI nativeness? It's this huge shift in how you think. It's the point where you stop seeing AI as just another handy tool for your developers, and you start designing your systems with AI agents as first-class citizens, right there at the core of your architecture.
Okay, so before we can start mapping out this future, we have to be really honest about where most teams are right now. And that means we gotta look past the surface-level hype of just using AI.
The thing is, most teams are kind of stuck in first gear. They're using AI reactively, right? Pulling it in for some code completion over here, a little help with debugging over there. But the source material is super clear on this. If you stay in that reactive mode, you're already falling behind. The real game-changing advantage comes from making AI a core, proactive part of your entire workflow. So how in the world do you make that leap? How do you graduate from just using AI to becoming truly AI native? Well, this is where we need a new kind of map for the journey ahead, the AI Nativeness Maturity Model, or AMM for short.
And I gotta say, I love this strategic compass analogy from the source. A compass doesn't just tell you if you're moving, it tells you if you're moving in the right direction. And in this crazy, fast-changing new world, that's exactly what the AMM does for your team.
So what is this thing, really? Think of it as a framework. It takes that vague goal of, getting better at AI, and it makes it totally concrete. It gives you 5 clear levels of maturity, it measures you across 3 key dimensions, and it gives you a data-driven roadmap to get from where you are today to where you need to be.
All right, let's get into the good stuff, the heart of the model. We're going to walk through the 5 evolutionary stages that take a team from just messing around with AI all the way to becoming truly AI native. Here's the journey, all laid out. It starts at level 1, foundational. Think of this as casual, ad hoc use, where people are just experimenting on their own. Then you hit level 2, emerging, which is frankly where most teams are today, using tools reactively when they get stuck. Level 3, proficient, is a big step up. AI is now systematically helping your developers as part of the normal workflow. But the real magic happens at levels 4 and 5, where you shift to proactive innovation and finally, to a state where your systems are basically autonomous and self-optimizing. Whoa! And just look at the massive leap between those early and later stages. It's night and day. An emerging team uses tools reactively when a problem comes up. An advanced team, they're proactively designing systems with AI agents from the get-go. The focus shifts from just one person's idea to a whole team-wide strategy. And AI goes from being a helper for your developers to being an autonomous worker that handles entire tasks. That is a total change in how software gets made.
And what's at the very top of this mountain? The summit? That's level 5. The team basically evolves into what the source calls a meta-engineering entity. Your engineers are no longer just banging out code line by line. No, instead, they're managing a whole fleet of sophisticated AI agents that are autonomously generating, testing, and deploying software. The role of the engineer completely changes.
Okay, so those are the 5 levels. But how do you actually measure where your team is on that path? Well, the AMM does this by looking at your maturity across 3 super critical dimensions.
And this is so important. This is not just about code and tools. To really become AI native, you need to balance everything. So the model looks at your process and velocity, your architecture and innovation, and just as important, your team's culture and governance. Let's start with process. This is where you see the immediate, almost jaw-dropping impact. I mean, look at the time it takes to get to an MVP. An AI-native team can slash that time by 2/3. That's what happens when you use AI to automate everything from boilerplate code to initial tests.
Now this is a perfect sign of a team that's really starting to get it. They start treating their prompts like professional code, versioning them, sharing them, building repeatable processes around them. It's the difference between just scribbling an idea on a notepad and actually engineering a reliable system.
All right, next up, architecture. And here we're looking for a massive shift in thinking. The goal for advanced teams, get to a point where a big chunk of their services are agent first, which means the AI is the service. It's not just some tool the service calls out to.
And within that architecture, it's all about how sophisticated those agents are. That's what the Agent Autonomy Index measures.
Are your agents just doing simple code completion? Okay, that's low autonomy. Or are they capable of these complex, multi-step tasks like finding a bug, writing a fix, creating the tests, and deploying it, all with hardly any human oversight? Now that is high autonomy.
And last, but definitely not least, we can't forget culture and governance. All the best tech in the world means nothing if you don't have the right people and policies in place. So the model asks 3 key questions here. First, are you actually training your people for this new world? Second, do you have a formal plan for using AI safely and ethically? And third, are you tracking how many new features are being born directly from your AI work? It's all about building the human operating system to support the technology.
Okay, so all of this work, climbing the levels, tracking the metrics, it all leads us to the final and most important question. Why does any of this matter? What's the strategic payoff for becoming AI native?
And let me tell you, the payoff is immense. You get your products to market way faster. And that speed comes with higher quality and better security because you're automating away a lot of human error. By knowing what really works, you can invest your money in the right people and the right tools. All of this creates a genuine culture of innovation, and that becomes your ultimate strategic weapon. It lets you attract the absolute best talent and lead your entire industry.
You know, this final thought from the source material just hits the nail on the head. This isn't just some internal engineering thing. In the new AI-first economy, how AI native you are will become one of your most critical competitive advantages. Measuring it and actively working on it, it's not optional anymore.
So this model gives you the map. And the truth is, every single software team in the world is on it somewhere, whether they know it or not. The only question you really need to ask yourself is, where is my team today, and where do we need to be tomorrow?